From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches on the sickened skies. With boils and blight they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name disease will reign. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches under sickened skies. With boils and blight they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name disease will reign. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. Armored and filled with rusted blades, they laugh as cities wilt and fade. Where they tread, no life remains, just hollow corpses, plague remains. Beneath the helm, the cursed grin, for in death they shall begin. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. Beneath the warp the souls are bound, to spread decay, to break the ground. Nurgle's gifts a putrid stain, a future where only disease remains. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. The rot spreads, there's no escape. The death god seals your fate.
I always forget to press that damn microphone. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Disgustingly Resilient podcast, and the first of a few weeks of entertaining tierlessness. So good to see everyone in the chat, and Lazy DM kicking us off with an absolute banger of 10 gifted memberships. Thank you very, very much there, Mr. Lazy DM. So we'll quickly go over the housekeeping stuff because Lazy's got it right started there. So please leave a like and a subscribe if you do enjoy the content we do here. I know it's a bit cringe to ask, I do apologise. If you really like the content and you want to become a member, you can become a Plague Marine. Lazy DM just gifted 10, so thank you so much. If you do get gifted one, go onto our community tab on our homepage for our YouTube channel. You get a link to the Discord, you have to scroll down a few posts, get into our Discord, and then basically we've got a giveaway on right now where you can win a brand new Kill Team box with the new Plague Marines in it. You get the full thing, it's not just the Plague Marines. And all you got to do to enter that is be on our Discord as a Plague Marine member, and then go to the giveaway section and just react to the post. And simple as that, you're in the draw. So thank you so much there, mate. I really, really appreciate it. Money's better spent on 10 gifted memberships than a Blight Hauler. Oof, we'll get to that one, but thank you so much. So how is everyone doing this evening? Hope everyone is doing quite well. Got a couple of regulars in the chat. It's nice to see you all. Hopefully got some new people here as well. Death Guard Dave saying, Buckland, this is going to be a rough one. Okay. So we're all here tonight to, well, just a quick recap. We know what's been going on. GW have been doing the Grotmas detachment calendar. So a minimum one a day for now until like near Christmas. They're releasing a new detachment, so every single army in the game will get at least one new detachment. Some of them are getting multiple, like Chaos Demons, etc. But the idea and what they said was that these are supposed to be ways to encourage people to try units that they don't really, use. We'll see if that's true, because it's not. But obviously, as they've been coming out, people have been reacting to them. We've been reviewing them. Now, I obviously reviewed the Death Guard one, and we'll talk about that. But I don't want to do a video on every single one. This is a Death Guard channel, not like a reviewing one. So this is a fun way for us to, at the end of every week, we'll come back to this tier list for the next probably 3 episodes of this, and it's going to be like a live tier list. So we'll do today, we'll obviously save it, and then maybe something comes out that makes something else look better than it actually was. Maybe what was actually, we thought was overpowered is actually mid at best, and now there's a new big dog in town, so we'll update it. But the main thing is to obviously interact with chat, have a bit of fun with it, and we will actually not go in-depth review on everyone. But when we do talk about each one, we'll obviously speak about certain things, thoughts about it, my personal thoughts, you guys in, and obviously look at maybe some examples of some key stratagems and whatnot. So it's just really a fun way. So as you can see on the screen here, we have our nice tier list up. So in the top tier, we have the End My Suffering tier. This is the tier for armies that are quite pushed, quite blatantly pushed, and I believe could cause a real problem in terms of balance. Now, just very quickly address this. This has been written from what we've all been hearing, that it's taking in the balanced data slate into account. Now, that's great. I don't have a balanced data slate, and everyone watching doesn't have a balanced data slate. So as far as I'm concerned, that means diddly shit right now. And also, for index armies, they said they've been taking into account the fact that these books of codexes coming in, they're written with the codexes in mind. Again, do I have a codex right now? No. And given that some armies might still not have a codex in 6 months, I don't give a shit. So I'm going to review it as it is right now with the indexes. So just a caveat, things will obviously change. Obviously, there's an MFM patch coming, so things are going to change. Don't take it too seriously. Tier lists are always a little bit subjective and a little bit fun. But there are some more points I want to talk about when it comes to rules design and things like that that actually do annoy me, and are actually like, this isn't anything to do with balance pass or anything like this. Is just like, this is just stupid. How is X what this and how is Y that? So we'll get into that. But I really want the guys in chat, Darkja, Andrea Sanchez, Kevin Morrison, Hugh Janus, Chukanori, Martin Brandt, Craig Beffin, all you lot. I want you to all join in the discussion. Give me your opinions. If you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, because that's always half the fun of this. And if you agree, just say, yep, just nod like a happy little soldier. So I've banned 2 to start off with. So I'm going to let the chat decide which detachment we're going to start with. And it ain't going to be Death Guard, and it ain't going to be Necrons for obvious reasons. So I think it's up to you guys. Have a quick type in chat. Where do you want to start on this tier list? Because we're saving them for maybe midway through or towards the end, but because they might end up on a special Aiden rant, as we know. But we'll start somewhere else, somewhere more neutral. Now, one thing I also wanted to ask the chat is, when we rate this, what do you want to rate it off? Do you want to rate it off pure power level? Do you want to rate it off like design? Do you want to rate it off like, hey, does this actually look cool? Was effort put into this, or is it just copy paste? How do you guys want me to approach it? Because obviously, I'll talk about it, but there is obviously a difference in something could be not very good power level wise, but actually like really fun and like really thematic. Okay, we got a lot of people saying Custodes, T-Sons. Okay, so we got equal votes for Custodes and T-Sons. Next person to vote after Beastly Gamer's comment is going to be the deciding one, so it's either T-Sons or Custodes. So whichever one there is going to say that, we'll go through. I do feel like every other detachment seems to be playable and powerful, while ours is just oops, all Marines and Death Shard. Yeah, I agree on that one, and we'll get into it. Yeah. That might be a great way of doing it, Lazy DM. Would I play this versus my current options? Because that's probably a fair one, because that would take into account fun. Because personally, like, if I had something that was like broken stupid, all right, Custodes it is then. And then like, if I had something good, but then something broken stupid but absolutely miserable to play came out, I still wouldn't be keen on playing that. So we'll do it like that. Okay, so we're starting at Custodes. So Custodes, the Golden Boys themselves. Today's article actually. So I have got them all up so we can have a nice quick flick through to them. So let's have a look. There we go. The Solar Spearhead. So this one that's come out today is all seems to be, well, pushing vehicles. I'm not even going to get into why I'm sick of vehicle detachments, but here we are again, and this is a Custodes vehicle detachment. Now, their detachment rule has 3 bloody things on it, of which one of them is 3 things, so quite a lot. So very quickly, just a quick recap. While basically a vehicle is at full health, add 2 to its OC. Okay, pretty cool. Same as it's the Crush Stampede, that. While a unit is below starting health, so they get to reroll 1s to hit, and if they're below half health or equal to, below only, they get to reroll 1s to hit and wound. Okay. Then they get to add 2 inches to the movement characteristics of all their walker units, and add 1 to advance and charge rolls for the units as well. So that's already like some real good shit there. And then last but not least, they also are able to give 2 of their walkers the character keyword, which means we're going to see character dreadnoughts, which means you can bring enhancements. So that's like, oh, okay, so let's go and have a look at the enhancements. What can these guys bring? Improve the attack, strength, and damage characteristics of melee weapons equipped by the bearer by 1. That's pretty good. So this can go on a dreadnought, remember. Okay, 5 up feel no pain on a dreadnought. That's pretty good. That's pretty goddamn good. Another vehicle only, so they can only go on a dreadnought, this one. Friendly infantry or custodes mounted units within 6 inches of the bearer can reroll hit rolls of 1. Okay, again, one thing 10th specifically set out with a goal to is to remove auras from the game. And now we're getting the auras here, and we've had other detachments with auras in. Now, I don't mind the odd aura, and this one's not horrendously offensive, because it's like a vehicle leading its troops. It's not like just everything nearby gets to reroll. It's just infantry or mounted. They get to reroll hit rolls of 1. Custodes, infantry, and bikes don't have like the most shooting output, and if you're in close combat, that means the walker's probably there in close combat, and it's a lot more restrictive to get the rerolls there. So I don't mind that too much in this one. Followed up by that, we have infantry or mounted model only. So this actually is the opposite, only goes on infantry or mounted. Select one vehicle or custodes mounted unit within 6 inches. They can shoot in a turn in which they fall back. So not charge, which is really weird given this is a detachment that like would love that. But I'm okay with this. It's this here on the left. The detachment rule seems really pushed. It's kind of cranked. Like there's 3 different things, and then 3 different things inside one of those things. However, from what I've been told and what I've also looked at, the Custodes Dreadnoughts kind of sucked. They have not really been seen much play this edition, and I've been basically told that this was kind of needed to make them semi-playable. It just seems really cracked. Now, one thing that didn't need these buffs, however, was Caladius Grav Tanks. Those things hit on 2s with 4 horrendously powerful twin-linked weapons, which is really scary. But the one caveat that you could have is if I ever popped smoke, yes, they'd only go to 3s to hit, but they'd have 2 fail chances, and one thing that Custodes don't have is rerolls. Now, they can potentially get reroll hit rolls of 1, which is like, now I really don't want to pop smoke, because 3s rolling 1s is not much better than, 2s, like, at that point, not rerolling 1s. But, okay, fair enough. But, overall, is this most painful? Adding 2 to your movement and 1 to advance and charge is a bit wild, but apparently the Dreadnoughts only move 6 when they used to move 9, so it's kind of just turning them back to what it used to be, so okay, fair enough. And being able to give walkers enhancements is cool, actually. I think that is thematic for Custodes. The problem is, I'm so sick of detachments just being like, hey, spam something, and this is like, hey, spam Dreadnoughts and Caladius Grav Tanks. It's just like, yeah, Rory, I love your Caladiuses, man. I really like him. But honestly, so far from what we've read, remember these detachments set out with a goal to make people take units they weren't taking. And okay, Caladiuses were already good. The main thing is it's kind of trying to look to make the walkers better. And I'm all okay for that. Like, Custodes haven't used the Dreadnoughts in a long time, so I imagine Rory in the chat is a fantastic Custodes player, local to me. I imagine this might get you a bit more excited to get your Dreadnoughts back on the table and give them a whirl, which again was the set out goal by GW to get these things out into the wild. So far, so happy. So let's have a look down. Okay, so I know they have subtract 1 from the rune roll here. So 1 vehicle from his army just gets attacked. It gets transhuman. So I'm going to get into this one again later with the Necrons detachment. Now, I don't mind it so much here because Custodes are kind of all about like the durability. But why, and we'll see this quite go on, why is this okay to give a vehicle transhuman? Because vehicles are already naturally tougher than infantry. Like, transhumans are more of a common rule for infantry because they get wounded easier. Like, it's not hard to double out a Marine's toughness 4. It's very hard to double out a vehicle. So pretty much 90% of the time, this means your vehicle's only getting wounded on a 4-up. On very durable vehicles already, this can be a bit wild. Now, this is kind of scary. Cladiuses with this is horrifying. Dreadnoughts with this is obviously very scary. My main issue with it is, though, why don't they have to jump through a hoop like we do in ours? And I'll get to that when we get to Death Guard, but that's one of the things I want to point as we go through this. I don't like when a strat is in one book, for one thing. And then, but the worst bit here is, like it's still more restricted in this one than a certain other detachment. But ours is that with an extra restriction and an extra caveat, and you have to spend 90 points to do it as well. And that annoys me. But overall, okay, fair enough. So we've got Emperor's Vengeance. This is you fight on death, which is quite strange that on a adding one to his lucky unit as the war keyword, you get to fight on death from a 3-up, which is interesting. It's going to feel really bad when you don't roll the 3-up and you just roll like the 1 or the 2. But I mean, you know, it's a fight on death stratagem, so it's always good to have. And the one thing I do like here is, even though this is how I wish our stratagems were designed for Death Guard, the detachment wants you to bring vehicles. This stratagem doesn't just say vehicle. You can use this on your infantry. It just is amplified by using it on the correct unit. So I actually like that. And I think that's how it should be. So this one, actually totally fine with. This one's really weird. Like, instead of, when you make a piling, you can move up to D3 plus 3 instead. Like, that's really weird. Because, again, we have, like, a 6-inch piling consolidate. Now, obviously, that's different because we're quite slow anyway. So, but for them to be, like, D3, why is it not just piling 6? Like, D3 plus 3 is so weird and variable. Because, like, you're going to spend this and be like, what happens if you needed a 5 and then you roll, like, a 1? And, like, cool, I wasted a command point. Again, it just feels weird. Same with this one here. If you don't fight on death, you've got 2 potential chances to waste a command point, which feels a little weird. Now, Unstoppable, this is like GW's thing at the moment. They're just like pumping this drug into their veins. They're just like, hell yeah, we love vehicles going through walls, man. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's more restrictive because it can only do it in the movement phase, and it has to do it at the start of the movement phase. So it's not like you can advance, see if you can get through a wall, and then use it like Chaos Knight something could do. You have to do it at the start, and then you can move through the wall. So it's, again, we'll see this printed in other detachments, but yet it's way more restricted here for some reason. And way more restricted. It's one phase only, at the start as well, so you can't see your roll. Very strange that it's so much more restricted. Advance and charge, that's pretty nutty with the bonuses up here to advance and movement for Dreadnoughts, which is really nice. And punishment inescapable, I don't like this one. Like, ignoring all ballistic skill and characteristic, bleh, awful. Give something ignore cover, and it just basically means it's always going to hit on 2s. Bit grim. Now, overall, however, Custodes, it does put Dreadnoughts back on the table. Does it fix the inherent issues of Custodes? Not particularly, because the problem is, like, even if you go with Custodes, this one, again, has no mortal wound defense, so you can just, like, mortal to death. Again, admittedly, real tough bodies on the Dreadnought, so it's not too much of an issue there. But for me, personally, I actually don't mind the Custodes one. I think it actually sets out with the goal of achieving it, of trying to get the walkers on the table, and I do genuinely think it achieves that. Like, it makes the walkers a lot more interesting. And here's the other thing, it makes, yes, it potentially overtunes Cladius's, but the problem is, and I'm sure Rory will agree here, when you overtune your Cladius like that, you're doing it at the expense of, like, Shield Host having all the 5-up crits, having like the mortal wound protection and stuff like that. So there is that. So, you know what, actually, I think this might actually be nailed it. I think this is, you give up stuff. You very much give up stuff. So it's not like it's just Shield Host, but better. Like, if you want to make your Cladius super powerful, you are giving up on your infantry bonuses. But if you wanted to bring a Dreadnought spam list, like, I don't think there's much going to be doing better for you. So actually, in terms of design and set out goals, which we said at the start, this is set out to be playable, which it definitely is. The rules are solid. There's some really nice stuff. There's a bit of duff, weird restrictions on some stratagems, but overall, pretty nice. Does it get the models they intended onto the table? Yes. Dreadnoughts are far much better in this one. Does it do it in a fairly fun way? Yes. The only potential downside is, like I said, overtuning Cladius's, but it is also at the expense of any infantry, and Dreadnoughts have the weakness that they are single model entities. It's quite easy to out-OC them. But for me, yeah, I think the more I think about it, it is actually, I nailed it. You get to put your Dreadnoughts on your table, and they feel good. So This one for me nails it. This is what they should be like. It's not, doesn't seem overly oppressive. Again, Clarice's aside, but again, remember what you're giving up for it. And yeah, okay, it will be oppressive in a sense that it is a skew list, but I mean, there's every book has a skew detachment now at these point in these days. So I can't even think be too fussed. And does it helps the bikes a little bit, because that's the other thing that we don't see much is the bikes for Custodes. There's not too much to help them, but there is some decent little things here for them, like being able for them to ignore cover and all things, and the little missiles could be quite nice. It does give them advance and charge, I think. Let me check. Okay, no, okay, so we don't get that. That's a bit upsetting. I wish that was mounted as well, but that potentially could be a bit oppressive there. What do they get? So they get fight on death for the bikes. The infantry can get that as well. Raffle advance, so they get extra pile, and that could be quite nice. But I mean, overall, it does what it sets out what it does to do, and it does it well. So I think that is genuinely a nailed it. So that's pretty cool. Now, let's go to something that maybe doesn't nail it so much. Let's go with the Thousand Suns. So I do the Chaos Pantheon with obviously David from Tizcam podcast and Dara from the World Eaters Red Path. This is, now I keep getting told to me the same thing. Oh, it's designed with the Codex in mind. It's designed with, I don't care. I'm looking at this as it is right now. This is, quite frankly, especially compared to the current one, absolute dog shit. I don't understand who is going to pick this up and put it onto the table. And it's mainly due to how badly designed Thousand Suns are, like, at a general level. So, you basically have to control objective markers to take over areas of the battlefield, and in doing so, you put them in your flow of magic. So, straight away, the detachment, caveat, needs a hoop. So, you don't just get a bonus movement, you don't get at least get, bonus, like, sustained hits or something for free. No, you jump through the hoop first, monkey, and then you get your reward. So, the reward better be damn good, right? Well, let's have a look. So, so you get to reroll wound rolls of 1 on a psychic attack, which is, like, okay, I guess, but the problem being, like, the psychic weapons in this army are, like, limited to, like, your actual, like, psychers and stuff like that. And this detachment is missing one big stratagem, which it probably would make it a lot better instantly. But here's the funny thing. If you do jump through the hoop, you get to instead add 1 to the wound roll. But here's the problem. What if you've already brought Magnus, who is literally, like, auto-take and like, needed in Thousand Suns? You have to have him. 100%. And he has an aura of +1 to wound with psychic attacks. But you can't stack this. But you can't choose to instead have the reroll wound rolls of 1. So you actually is just, at that point, you just don't have a detachment rule. Like, it doesn't do anything, which is just awfully designed, which probably indicates that Magnus is going to lose that aura, whatever, you know what I mean. But still, again, we're working off what we have right now. So we're already kind of crap like that. So, again, these all have hoops. Add 1 to the strength characteristics, psychic weapons equipped by models in the bearer's unit. Okay, cool, +1 strength. If you are in the army's flow of magic, add 2 to the strength. Woo! +2 strength. Bear in mind we've got detachments that give, like, +1 strength, +1 attack, +1 damage. Like, we just saw it, and you want me to pay 20 points to add 2 strength? Well, most of the time it's going to be 1 strength, because this is not an army that can play primary well at all. So 20 points to add 1 strength to one of your psychic attacks. Value. Terrible. You get to add 6 into the range of psychic abilities that the bearer has. Ooh. And you can reroll hazardous tests for 20 points. Again, why would you not just stand next to a Vortex Beast who actually puts a body on the table, has his exact ability, and is, okay, reroll hazardous tests who no one really cares. Empiric Onslaught, again, adds 3 to the character's attacks characteristic. So this is confusing me the most here. So if you're within your flow of magic, so for 5 more points, I can add 3 to my attacks, or I can add 2 to my strength. For 5 more points, they think 3 more shots is equivalent to +2 strength. Yikes. And then last but not least, while the unit is on the battlefield and it's full of magic, you cannot... Yeah, this is so weird. So it's, again, it gives you the hoop. It tells you, okay, here's the bonus. You get to always count as being army's flow of magic. That's where this should have stopped. But then it carries on to say, oh, by the way, models in this unit can't be selected to use any rituals at all. So like, here's your bonus you have literally paid points for, and now I'm just going to lock you outside of your army roll. Because you need more hoops, Chaos players. Chaos players love hoops. Don't even bother. But let's be honest, maybe there's some gems or stratagems. So we've got sticky objective. Okay. I mean, they're already not great at holding primary, so sticky helps, but like it's not really what the army needed. But okay. Fight on death. And again, all these want extra things. Oh, this is the funny bit as well. You have to be in your army's flow of magic, which means you basically only have a sticky in home, because your opponent has an entire turn to make sure you don't have flow of magic in any of the mid-board objectives, which means you then can't sticky them. So again, this does nothing unless you're through the hoop. So go through the hoop, and then you can sticky something. Down here, you get to fight on death, and you get to... Again, this is a bit better. This is a bit better. You get the bonus, and then if you make the hoop, it gets a bit better. But why are we giving Thousand Suns fight on death? Like, which Thousand Sun player was out there like, oh man, I really wish my Rubik's Marines could fight on death? I know what everyone's saying. Oh, but it's meant to be for Scarab Occult Terminators. Even them fighting on death? Like, do you really care? It's not like you're charging into some 8-bound or something like that, or, you know, Inner Silk Companions. It's just Scarab Occult. It's not the scariest thing on the planet. It's so out of place. It's so out of place. This should have been the stratagem from the index, which was give all weapons psychic keyword, because then that would actually make all the stuff up here actually work a lot better. That one change would make this infinitely better. Not good, and you still ain't running this over index detachment, because, again, let's compare. Index detachment has a 1 command point stratagem to reroll all hits and wounds with a psychic weapon, which Magnus can use, and will use. You were never beating that. And don't worry, you were never beating it anyway, but this one is, like, even the stuff you do get, it's just not good. Like here, Strands of Time, what have we got? There you go. You can shoot or charge when you fall back. That's actually pretty good. Shooting and falling back is actually pretty good stratagem. And if you're in flow of magic, you can do both. Okay, the charge is very rare. You more care about the shoot, which is fine. Through the Veil, really weird. You give Root Marines a squad. Root Marines you can deploy them with Deep Strike, or you could just take the Umbralific Crystal from the index attachment, which lets you up or down at any point, even turn 1 if you go second. So that's just better. It's just better. Scouring Warp Flame, and again, yeah, you can put Scarab Occult Terminators 6 inches away from someone if they're, again, in with flow magic, but then they can't charge either. So it's like, okay, so they're just gonna like appear and not do much. It's a bit weird. I don't get it. Like, okay, you can have rubrics coming and flame a unit from Deep Strike. That's pretty good. But that's, again, it could be achieved in the other detachment with the ability to give the weapon psychic, which then lets you get all the stuff on them. And again, weird. Why is this a thing? And your opponent's shooting phase just after you're being shot. You get, if you're, again, only if your unit has a stealth, so you get -1 to be hit, and if you're within your flow of magic, again, which is super easy to just deny in your opponent's turn, very easy, you get the benefit of cover as well. That might as well not be there. Cover is super easy to get. Like, this detachment in general makes no sense. It's worse than the index in every way. Magnus has very little play in it, and Magnus is the only thing keeping the army together, because the army's so fundamentally broken on its points and its rules that are on its data sheets that it needs to be the way it is right now, and it desperately needs it doesn't need this detachment, it needs a codex. It's the only way that army works again. So, I mean, you all saw this coming. Why did you even bother writing this right now? Like, and even if you, again, caveat, even if you wrote this with a codex in mind, why would you even bother releasing it right now? Because it's literally garbage. I would rather this have just waited for the codex, because all this does is piss people off. It's just going to make them upset because they were excited for something, you brought it out, and it current iteration it is garbagely unplayable, and they're not getting their codex for at least the next 3 months. Why even bother? I hope you guys agree in chat with that one, but I mean, that was a pretty easy one in my opinion to give that. The only defense I've heard for this attachment is where you play 500 or 1,000 point games and don't want to bring Magnus. I still think I'd rather take the other one, Tox Trio, to be honest with you, mate. It's got just way better stratagems, enhancements better. Even without Magnus, it just achieves nothing the Index Detachment does, just way worse. It's not good. This one reads like they just threw darts at a dartboard to figure out which rules to give it. Yes, it does. And Fight on Death apparently was on that dartboard because of reasons. Yeah, but is GW in the business of giving the players what they need or selling models? Like, what does this even sell, though? I don't even understand. What does it even sell? Scarab cults? Is that what they're trying to sell? Because it's not like I read it and go, oh man, this really wants you to run. Like, you read the Custodes one, and it's obviously want you to put Dreadnoughts on the table. This one I read, and I don't know what the fuck they want me to do with it. They want me to just pretend it exists and yay, I guess. It's not good. It's no use, and especially right now we're not on Codex. It is so bad. It's so bad. Okay, chat. Next one. What we're going for? First person to reply gets to choose, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I mean, we got two. Unfortunately, so far we've got like perfect, like one that I'd nearly say is nearly perfect up here and nailed it. Because again, I don't expect things have to be perfect to be classed as nailed it, but they have to clearly know what they're trying to do and achieve that goal. This one is the complete opposite. This is I have no idea what's going on here. So I'll leave it to chat for you guys to decide which one we want to look at next. The Imperial Agents one, I am not looking at the Assassin one. I'm not going to lie, lazy. I'm not even going to bother with that one. I'll look at Deathwatch. But like the Assassin one, like no one's really going to run. Admech. Okay, we'll go Admech. So Admech. There we go. Hail Screed. Okay, Admech one. So when I saw the Admech one, my initial reaction was to it. This looks like they wanted to create a better combined arms detachment. This is like every army has like its combined arms detachment. It's supposed to be like the Gladius, you know, the Plague Company. It's the one that doesn't say, hey, go buy 15 of this unit. Instead, it's like we can use everything pretty decently. So to me, that's what this one is. Now, I'm not going to cover the fact that you can use this ability on like Canis Rex or something like that, because I'm not sure if that's intentional, and if it is, that's stupid. We got rid of most of the ally crossover rules, and I just don't think that should be a thing. I even think it's a bit daft that we can use that Contagion. But last thing I want is like a toughness 14 Canis Rex, because again he can do shoulder. Oh, he can't because it's an ally. Ignore me. But still, I want an advanced and charging Canis Rex. That's for bloody sure. Now, the rules in this one are very, very good. We can't deny that. Being able to choose units every turn, so you get 2 units and basically pick the buff you want, and one of them being advance and charge, which is crazy powerful. And then you got some durability buffs, and you can go like move characteristic as well. Flexibility is such a good power. It's like it's the same reason Death Guards, a Plague, a Contagion choice is so impactful. Being able to choose and have the flexibility is incredibly powerful. We get that choice once at the start of the game. They get to this all the way through. It's why Doctrines are so powerful, why Gladius in general is so powerful, because flexibility is king, because that makes you be able to have a toolbox, and toolbox means plays. So this right here, I actually think is pretty damn cool. You get a lot of play. It's going to really reward people using it properly. 2 units. I'm not going to talk about it going on nights because, as I said, it's you know, just weird and daft. But the fact that they can use these on it is just silly. Now over here we've got a buff to Castle and Robots, which is a unit that doesn't get ran at all. So again, point for that one for them trying to fix that a little bit. It lets them use this Halo Override keyword, and they also get to use the army rules, which they currently don't. There is a detachment that's only rule is to give Castle and Robots their army rule, which is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. It's like, oh, cool, you're playing the army. Well, what does this detachment do? Oh, it lets you play the army. What? So the fact that this is here as an enhancement instantly makes Castle and Robots like just better in this detachment. Unfortunately, it does come at the cost of 30 points, but I'm sure there's nothing else in the game that's going to be ridiculously powerful for 30 points. Spoiler. Then, you know, you got some other good things like double imperatives. Now, one thing I've got to remember is Admech is a book that started off extremely weak. Like, they just weren't good. You're basically playing Waves of Trash. And Waves of Trash is fun, to a degree. But until you realise you're not having fun because you're not killing anything, you're not doing anything, you're just annoying people. So they buffed it. They gave Doctrines additional effects, and now they actually shoot pretty well. But they still play a bit like, hey, here's a load of trash, let me deny scoring a lot. But it's mainly because the datasheets themselves aren't the best. They've not got the best core units and rules and abilities. But now they've got to a point where they have lots of overlapping buffs. So you've got Doctrines, which are going to put a squad like +1 AP, cover, all that kind of stuff. And now you can put Noospheric Transference on them, get another 2 abilities on them if you want, or 2 for a stratagem. Another one there. So a lot of like stacking layers of buffs, and you've got some really good stratagems here. So pick someone to shoot. If you can reroll wound rolls of 1. If the Halo override, you can reroll a hit roll of 1. Pretty damn good. Targeting override. You score crits on a 5-up. Now this one is kind of wild, given that you can give this to like breaches, and I think that my one worry here is that breaches were already really good, and now we can potentially make breaches like even stronger. And I think breaches are like a bit crazy, and I'm a little worried like breaches critting on 5s with their weapon, which is now like AP3, and potentially has the guy in there to give them ignores cover as well. It can be quite oppressive, that unit, especially you can get shot on the shot on Overwatch by them. It can really hurt. So I mean, I've lost 6 Death Shrouds to that unit on Overwatch, which is quite nasty. So we don't want that. This is the double up on them, which is quite nice. I like the fact that if again you can use it to just put a unit in into it, but if you want to double up on something, there is a slight downside. You're suffering some mortal wounds. D3 is not too much, but again, it does come with a bit of like, okay, you're already stacking and layering a load of buffs. If you want to continue to do that, you're going to at least have to pay some price, some damage. So, okay, fair enough. This rule is awesome. Again, this is one that you basically turn a transport into a Land Raider for a turn. If we had this, I would die for the stratagem. It's so good. This is so good. And again, what does this do? Well, this means that your melee units actually are way more playable, like your Electro Priests with the guys with the big staffs, because they're much more likely to make it into combat because they are extremely squishy. But now the fact that you can use Doom Riders like Land Raiders makes them a lot more able to get there. Same with Rust Stalkers. So actually, we've got 2 things now. One's sort of fixing Castle and Robots. This one's fixing Electro Priests, which is quite nice, and Rust Stalkers. So cool, I like that. You can shoot and declare a charge in a turn which fell back. If it's a Halo override, you can reroll Desperate Escape Test. So again, yep, really nice. And again, all these can be used on any unit as well. This is what I mean. This is the combined arms. This is like you can use all this on any unit, which makes it really good. And then last here we got reactive move. Yeah, you have a reactive move, which is solid. Like, it's got all the core things you want for a good do everything detachment. You have some way to make help getting combat easier with aggressive impulse. You've got fall back and do stuff. You've got a reactive move, and then you've got some damage increases. So overall, everyone likes that. I think this is their attempt to basically make Admech have a detachment that is like just a go-to general detachment, because the rest of them weren't great. Skitarii Hunter Cohort, Rad Zone Corps is just awful as like a generic go-to detachment, and also that detachment rule with the stupid mortal wounds. Having played against it, having to use like 11 wound markers on the first turn is the most frustrating shit in like I've ever played against. Like, I hate tracking it. Now, are these rules kind of cracked? Yes. However, let's remember the data sheets they're going on. They're not great. My only fear is like the chicken walkers and the breaches could potentially be a bit too much. Now, if this also allows Admech points to go up, because another problem with Admech at the moment is they're so expensive to collect. Because they were trash when they came out, they hit points decrease after points decrease after points decrease, and people just don't want to collect the army, and they don't want to play the army because it's just way too many things needed for it. So I hope that the MFM will put the points up, which would fix some of my concerns with it. But in general, if you were to talk about this set out for me, again, I'm only going off what I think, but in my head this was the generalist combined arms attachment, and I think it nails it in that sense. It gives you flexibility, it incentivizes you to use some units you wouldn't normally use, like the Castle and Robots up here, the Electro Priest down here, and it's pretty damn good. Like, there's some really, really, really good stuff with it. So, I mean, again, this is where it comes a bit of an issue now. Is this... I can't put it in End My Suffering, because I don't think it becomes End My Suffering tier, because AdMech data sheets just aren't quite there. And I think for someone that genuinely wants to not just play Skitarii bodies and wants to bring some of the more fun stuff like Castellan robots, like even Onaga June calls and stuff like Don't Get Seen Play, they get pretty decent in this. Like they're pretty decent because you can increase the toughness, you can give them extra move, give them stealth whenever you want to. There's some stratagems to use like rerolling hit rolls and win rolls of 1, or like an Onaga June caller can make it, you know, that neutron laser a bit more reliable. I just think this is a really, really, really good detachment. Now my worry is, if this doesn't see points increases, this could potentially go slightly up here, being a bit too good. But as it is right now, because of the baseline power of AdMech, and if points do go up, I actually think that's going to be better for the collectors because it lets more people get into the army. I genuinely think this is a really good one. I think this is solid. It's probably in between the threshold, if I could put it here, but I'm not going to put it up at the top just yet. I think this is I think it's above Custodes because it is more powerful than Custodes. But it also doesn't scream immediately broken to me. There probably will be something broken, and an AdMech player will find it and break it. But overall, I think, again, we talk about what we started with. What was the goal set out? Make some unused units more playable. It's got stratagem enhancement that really increased that. And this is like a generalist attachment. The theme is just be a generalist attachment with flexibility, and I think it nails that perfectly. Well, let me see what you guys in the chat think here, so let's have a quick look. Boo the people to... Okay, I can look at the assassins if you want. I'll do it at the end because I'll have to like find a symbol for it. This is going to be the choice for AdMech. I think it is. I think it's... Now again, Necrons Goblin, I'm not counting in the Knight bullshit because I don't think that's actually intentional. I think that's an oversight. If it is, that could be potentially stupid then. But I'm going to keep it here for now because I genuinely don't think that's the intent. And it probably get it right, but I mean, I could have been wrong before and I could be wrong again, but I'm hoping it's not the intent. I think it's bad that this is so much better than All But One. I agree, Chukanori. I do think it does, unfortunately, make a lot of the other detachments in AdMech just kind of bad. But at the same time, I feel like they were kind of doomed from the start because of the way they designed the other ones. Like, again, look at the Castellan Robot one. No one was ever going to play that. Ever. Not in a million years. I think it was trash. Because, again, your detachment rule is to get an army rule. But I think, in general, if you are... Again, we'll do it from their player perspective. If I was an AdMech player right now, and this came out, I'd be buzzing. I get to use my Electric Priest, I get to use my Castellan robots. All my other stuff doesn't get immediately worse. And I just get a really flexible attachment that lets me play many different ways. So I'd be buzzing if I got this. Same with the Custodes. I think I'd be pretty happy if I got that. I think, again, a reason to get Dreadnoughts out. Pretty cool. Alright, Dark Angels. People ask for Dark Angels. Dark Angels. Now, this one, I might be a little controversial on. I'll say it right now. I really fucking like this detachment. I don't think it's as good as Gladius. I don't think it is. But it's a real cool detachment. Like, when I was reading it, I was like, oh my god, this has got some real fun shit in it. I just think it's... So... Currently in Dark Angels, you have your terrible, unforgiven task force. Then you've got a Ravenwing detachment and a Deathwing detachment. But none of it incentivizes like the teamwork between them. So they come out with a detachment, which clearly the goal is to have a Ravenwing / Deathwing combination of detachments. It's like, okay, we want to use it again. So the bonuses are all about basically using them together. You have... Basically, you punish people for trying to fall back away from Ravenwing, things like that. Oh, it's, Ravenwing. You punish people falling back, which is quite nice. No one's going to want to fall back against this. And then, once the Ravenwing have marked their target, which is, again, this is what happens lore thematically. The Ravenwing hunt them down, and once they find the target, the chosen, the fallen, sorry, or whatever it is, they then call on the Deathwing, who arrive, like, by homers, and basically administer the, a Dark Angel Caliban-esque beatdown to them. Which is awesome. So... The Ravenwing stop people falling back. That itself is a little bit weak, unfortunately, but you do have oaths as well as this, so just bear that in mind. Then, whenever a Deathwing unit declares a charge that is on an enemy unit that's within engagement range of Ravenwing, add 2 to the charge roll. So that's, like, really good. Like that's a pretty good 7-inch charge from Deep Strike. But again, you don't have to do it from Deep Strike. Just a normal charge from somewhere, turning an 8 into a 6. I wish we had a way to like, hey, charge to some engage with Poxwalkers, get +2. Yeah, fucking 2, right? But again, Rapid Ingress, this technically goes to like a 2-inch charge, which is like unfailable at that point. But it's just really cool. It's like, hey, we'll go tie them up, and then you guys come in and administer the beatdown, which is nice. The enhancements are pretty straightforward. You've got add 1 to the damage characteristic. It's straightforward. It's nice. Lord of the Hunt. Ravenwing model only. Again, you've got one for like a Ravenwing here, and you've got one for Deathwing, which again fits the theme. This is really nice. Uppy downy is real good, especially combined with this. If you can set up a charge and you uppy downy, and then you got a 7-inch charge, which is really, really nice. Ravenwing can shoot and declare a charge in a turn at which it fell back. So again, that's really nice. You can fall back, shoot the squad you just fell back from, charge another squad, set up in for that 2-inch plus charge roll on Deathwing. Really cool, really thematic. Hit and run. Basically, the Ravenwing is hitting and running, and the Deathwing's coming in where stuff's a bit too tough, and they need to come in and help. So that's really, really cool. Now, the stratagems for it are also really cool. Unfortunately, Knights of Iron, for me, has been ruined now slightly because of every other detachment getting it, but just more free to use, which I hate. Like, this is so limited to Ravenwing, so like you can't do a Dreadnought, you can't do like any tanks, it's just bikes. Storm Speeders can do it though, which is quite cool. But again, it's more limited. And it was so cool, I was like, oh my god, the thematics, that is awesome. And now GW is just like, you have it, you have it, you have it. And it's just like better versions, which is kind of annoying. But the thematics of it are awesome. It fixes a main issue with why Ravenwing can kind of suck, which is terrain to do with. We'll be able to blast through a wall with like an Outrider ATV, charge something, tag it, and then make your Deathwing better. Nice. Like that. Select one enemy unit engagement range. That unit must take a battle shock test. So this one is weirdly good in the right circumstance, but it's really weird. Like, this is one of those, again, we have the exact same stratagem. It doesn't matter until it does. And the fact that it has weird timing in the command phase, you can do it in your opponent's command phase. This can genuinely flip a game on its head. So I like that in general. I think it's pretty decent. It's not the greatest. You get Armor Contempt, always brilliant. Again, this is Brill. Ravenwing lights something up, mark it for death, and then the Deathwing can punch. Bear in mind, Deathwing isn't just Terminators, it's Dreadnoughts, it's Repulsors, it's Land Raiders. So you can bring a Ravenwing unit to bear, plasma gun the shit out of something with some Deathwing Knights. One guy, Black Knights, Black Knights, yeah. One guy shoots something at a different unit, marks that unit, or you can have the Storm Speeder, which can add 1 to Ruined Roll. He shoots something, applies his own rule, shot one gun off to the left, applies the rule to that one. Again, it's just like, they work together. It's like, hey, use your guys together, get rewarded for it. Again, down here, it's the same but defensive. Use your guys together, you get defensive. What I like about this, however, is you don't need to have both in close combat in this one. You can just get one buff or the other, but if they're both there, they do stack, which is really nice. And I like the fact that they even thought about this here. They were like, yeah, with Armor Contempt and this, it could be a bit much, so we'll put a restriction in, which is, it's nice to see, not for Dark Angel players, but it's nice to see that they, like, the Dark Angel designer thought about this, because I feel like that's been missed out on some of the other ones. You know, and this here, Inescapable Wrath, is just awesome. Like, I'm glad they put it at 2 CP. They know this is a very powerful stratagem, whoever designed this. You can just charge in your opponent's face, just like, I'm just going to punch someone. So it stops. One of the biggest weaknesses is just getting out OC'd, and gets you that extra movement and stuff like that. I know this one isn't as powerful as some of the other detachments, and it's not going to be as good as Gladius. Gladius is just way too good as a toolbox flexible option. It's kind of got the AdMech problem, what we just said. But, man, if I was to personally put this here, like, this for me is, like, nailed it as well. I fucking love this detachment. I think it's so goddamn cool. I think it's just, like, I know, like, you could say potentially, like, maybe the Ravenwing units need buffs, but, again, I'm doing this off what this Grotmas was meant to achieve, and I think this one, again, nails it. It's like, we really want you to run these units together. It incentivizes using them in the correct way, getting bonuses off each other, them engaging units at the same time, marking targets for each other. I think the only thing I genuinely would have liked a little bit extra here was maybe some output increase for the Ravenwing units. They have a lot of like increasing output for Deathwing and fall back and shoot, but they don't have any way to do it themselves. But I mean, overall, if I was Dark Angel player and I was comparing it to, I'm not going to compare it to Gladius because Gladius is an unfair comparison. I apologise, and that's a bit bullshit because I said this. I compared this to Index, but even without the Index, this just looks lame. but these guys do have a codex. Gladius aside, because Gladius is probably the best all-around detachment in the entire game. If I compare this to Deathwing, it plays different, but it's still got power to it. I like it. Compared to Ravenwing, and plays different, and it's much better than Unforgiven Task Force. Like I would say this is more their generalist detachment, even though it's not. But it does a better job than Unforgiven does. So I think this is I genuinely think these three here are bang on the money. Like these are really good. I really do like it. Oh, thank you very much for the gifty membership, ladies chicken. Congrats to Toxic Teddy on getting that membership. And again, if you guys, please do remember to leave a like and a subscribe if you are enjoying the content you're watching. It really does help out the channel quite a lot. And if you really like it, consider becoming a member. So where are we off to next then? We've got 3 more to go. Where are we off to next? Oh, we're gonna have some more. Do you want to do Deathwatch as well, don't we? So let us know, guys. What one do we want to go to next? I mean, I'm starting off this pretty positive actually. We got one shite one down here, but 3 actual ones that I think is really, really good. Toxic Teddy, I would actually rather them do that. I don't think you should be able to share the code attachments of Space Marine. The whole point is you don't follow the codex. You should be limited to your own, and that lets also GW balance you much better, because then they can buff Unforgiven like mad, because you're working with Dark Angel stuff, not like generic stuff, and worry about making Ultramarines too powerful. I agree. Nids, Tyranids, okay. I'll be honest, when the Nid one first came out, my initial reaction was thanks but no thanks. I was like, oh, it's all about warriors. It's all about warriors, and it kind of still is. But then the more you realise it, this is an attachment that is made with a very clear, distinct idea in mind to emphasise people building warriors. But they made sure to include a bit of flexibility in it, which is quite actually nice to see. Nid's one is actually pretty good. I agree after thinking about it for a bit. So not only does your entire army get 5, well, your warriors and Winged Prime get in 5 invulnerable save, then you realise the Winged Prime can join stuff like Gargoyles. Now you've got Gargoyles with a 5+ invulnerable. That's pretty good. Neuro Tyrant models, they can be attached. This needs to be played around with more. Again, unique, cool, unlocks new combos. This should be an enhancement that is used more for like different armies. I really like that. Also increases your OC and gives them battle line as well, which is really, really nice. Especially in current thing, battle line get a couple bonuses, which is quite nice. But OC free is also really, really good. So happy with that. Gain some bonuses for the primes, add hit rolls, things like that. It's all really nice. Advance and charge, and again, I like how they realized this was really one of the good ones. They didn't lock this to the Tyranid warriors. They were like, no, this can go on anything. So Broodlord can get this. Technically, even a Hive Tyrant with like Hive Guard can get this, which is really nice. So even though it is clearly wanting to run Tyranid warriors, it's not fully locking you into that, which is nice to see, and you'll see that in the stratagems as well. So for example, this one here. One Tyranid unit from your army can reroll a wound roll of 1, which is nice. That's pretty cool. Basically, if you use it on warriors, you get to pick a smaller squad, and they also gain the benefit of it as well. And the warriors get the enhanced version, but it's not locking you out of using it on anything else. So if you just want real ones to wound, you can put it on a Tyrant effect, you can put it on an Exocrine. It still gives you the flexibility, but rewards you for putting it onto the correct things. Nice. This one here. One Tyranid unit again, let's use it on anything you want. Add 2 to the strength characteristic. Strength 11 Exocrines. Strength 12 Maliceptors. It's a lot of good things. Like, that's really good breakpoints there. That actually genuinely does matter, these breakpoints, which is nice. But again, it also then says, oh, but if you do use it on the thing we want you to take, you also get 1 to the strength characteristics and melee weapons. Cool. Okay. That's pretty cool. So here, again, we've got 2 already that are basically saying, use it on the thing we want you to take, and you get bonuses, but you're still free to use it on anything else. Really nice. Regen a Dead Warrior, pretty decent. These ones are just for warriors now, but again, the fact that they've included the 2 is quite nice. 1 Tyranid warrior unit from your army, you basically sticky it. Nice. But again, it's just your movement phase. Sticky it. There's no hoop. Where's the hoop? Again, Thousand Suns crying right now. There's no hoop. It's just, hey, you control the objective, sticky that damn thing. It's also not in the command phase, which is really nice in the movement phase, which means this can actually be done turn 1. It's very strange that it's not in the command phase like every other sticky, and I wish, again, they'd get better than that. But, you know, reasons. And then we've got down here, basically, they get to ignore cover, and after they finish shooting, they can have something else lose. They basically never be able to gain the benefit of cover. So once again, they can shoot units, shoot one shot off, mark that for ignores cover for the rest of their army. So even though it's used on the warriors, it's actually beneficial to your entire army, which is not just warriors. X-Screens, again, all that kind of stuff can take use of this, really nice. And then we've got Tyranid warriors here. We've got transhuman effect again, which again is popping up everywhere. At the moment, but again, theirs is why is it so limited? It's the Tyranid warriors. And I won't get this bit here. This confuses me. The target is only a Tyranid warriors unit from your army that selects the target of one or more attacks. But then the effect says if that unit is a Tyranid warriors, well, it has to be Dumbo. So we shouldn't even need that there. It should just say select up to one endless mutal unit from your army. Each time you select a target to one of those units. Like, why is there an if? It has to be. You can only target Tyranid warriors, you Dumbo. Which made me laugh, that one. But overall, this one's grew on me a lot more. I think my initial reaction was, oh great, this is going to be like a TTS menace, because no one's going to like own 70 summit warriors. But the more you look at it, I don't like the fact it's really wants you to take warriors as much, because it's quite limiting it. I'd rather it would be like, I don't know, something a bit wider. Maybe just a little bit wider, but I also understand like warriors are quite important. They're not really getting much play and much love, and you don't want to make too many things too strong. For me, this one, I don't know if this is a nailed it or a real potential for me personally. I think this one could be real potential. I don't think it's as cool and nails the theme as these guys as much up here. I think these are really unique playstyles and stuff. This is just kind of like invasion fleet, but with more warriors. Like if you want a warrior themed invasion fleet, you know, like just a generalist does stuff. It doesn't really like scream something new, and that's going to be hard to do because Nids have a lot of like cool attachments anyway. But it's not bad. I think this genuinely has real potential to it. I just don't think it's on the same level as the guys up here for like what they set out to achieve and what they do. I don't know how you guys feel about that in chat, but that's where my head's at for it. I think this could actually be quite powerful as well. But again, we got compared to the Invasion Fleet, we got compared to Crush Stampede. It's just, I like warriors. And even then, it's not just limited to warriors, it has all the flexibility, which is quite nice. But overall, I don't know, for me personally, I think this is only going to get to here because it just doesn't scream as cool to me, and I like Tyranids as well. But it just I don't know, like this up here is super thematic. This up here is like, hey, Dreadnoughts, let's go smash things. This up here is just really strong. This one is pretty strong, but not like incredibly strong to nail it. But also doesn't make me go out and buy like this. There's way more underused units than just warriors. And it only affects warriors. Like it only fixes warriors. And I'd like to have seen some of the things be like buffed to make this like real shine. But overall, I mean, I wouldn't be unhappy to get this. I think Nids have some good attachments anyway. I wouldn't be unhappy for this. So yeah, real potential on that one. So we've got Deathwatch left. We've got Death Guard left, and we've got Necrons left. Shall we get our guys out of the way? Shall we get the smelly boys out of the way? What do you reckon? I reckon we could do the smelly boys. We got Deathwatch and Death Guard left. Lazy DM. I know you can't get us out of the way. You can't get Deathwatch out of the way. DG. Okay, we'll do DG. So Death Guard Flyborn host is. Shall I put it? I'll put it where I think it is first. I think it's a thanks but no thanks. I could honestly make an argument for this being like near Thousand Suns, but the one thing I can't argue is like at least some of this is attempting to make sense in what it's doing in Thousand Suns doesn't. I have gone on a 2-hour rant almost on why Death Guard is not a great attachment and why it pisses me off. But I mean, to not get too much into it, it's okay. And it has... The main thing I have with it is that actually, after playing it, it gets boring pretty quickly. You just kind of walk up the board and pray, which is something I've said from the start. The other issue we have is that, again, our entire army was fixed due to our index, and all the patches put onto that with the extra, for the extra contagions and whatnot, and we basically give them all up for this, so we lose all of our output. The biggest crime this one commits for me is you take our army rule and you make me not give a single shit anymore. -1 toughness as an army rule is just not impressive. It's not that impressive. And you fixed it in play company by adding the extra stuff on, which made it really impactful and really make them want to play around it. This takes it all away again. So it's like the designer learnt something, made it impactful. Everyone was like, oh, that's really cool now. It does a lot of work. I love it. It's so much fun to play with. And he's like, okay, cool. What if I just remove it again? And I'm like, oh, okay, so I don't have an army rule again. It just feels like you don't have one sometimes. Not only that, it lacks any form of output, which means your only way to win with this is take over the board and kind of stand around and tag stuff. Like Death Shroud can hit moderately hard in melee, but not really great enough. And for me, I don't think this has like much potential, especially because a lot of the things we're seeing are just so much better in comparison. And like let's look at some of them which gain a lot of bonuses versus stuff and objectives. This is an army that needs to do stuff by being an objective. It'd be really annoying if one of the detachments came out, had a rule that completely negated your detachment rule because you stood on objective, which is the only way this detachment wins anything. Because I mean, it's basically all it does. It's a giant clogged board. Now, thematically, does it achieve it? Some people would say yes. I still disagree. It gives you stealth and hoops. So, like, again, why couldn't we scout in transports? Would that be so broken? A 5-inch scouting rhino? No, it wouldn't be. You remove that, this instantly becomes way better, and I'm more happy about it. But again, let's put a limitation straight there. Let's just say, nope, you can't have it if you do this. Okay, weird, but okay. Then we're going to lock every single stratagem to infantry only. So even though everyone knows a good army generally, unless you're fast, needs some like form of firepower to exchange trades. Because again, if you're fast, it doesn't matter because you can close the distance so quick. If you're slow, you're going to need some support firepower. Well, how about we give you a detachment that makes you slightly faster turn 1 and slower every other turn, and then give you 0 reason to bring any form of supporting firepower. Cool, because that's what you've done. All this is infantry locked. And I can rant on about how badly designed these actually are. So first of all, let's go to the Mythic Blight Hall stratagem. To use it, you get the transhuman effect that we have seen in, 3 other detachments so far, and they just get it. No, you, monkey, will jump for your hoop. Your hoop is to be within 6 inches of a shit unit. So you'll already be having to bring this unit. It's not shit, to be honest. Blight Hall just feels bad, but it's not actually as bad. It's 90-point Demon Engine. It's alright. But you're still having to bring one. You have to keep it alive, and you have to be within 6 inches of it on an infantry-only model. Bear in mind, we've just seen it be used on, like, Custodes Dreadnoughts for no limitation, not having to be near anything. Now you're infantry-only, near one of these things, and you have to have one in your list and paid for it. So jump through the hoops, monkey. So I don't like it. Don't like that at all. Now, the other thing that pisses me off is we have up here, we have Droning Horror, which is you can fully roll hit rolls you can roll hit rolls of 1. If you're within half range, you can reroll hit rolls. Okay, what does Death Guard have in terms of infantry shooting firepower? Okay, Death Shroud. Okay, they all hit. Cool, so they don't need it. Cool. Blight Lord Terminators. They have Combi Bolters, which can do some okay dev wins to infantry, but that's about it. Or Bolters, which do nothing. We all know in this edition, Bolters are just awful. So they're the best use for it on combi weapons, but again, if you're against like vehicle spam, which is being encouraged a lot, it's not going to be doing much. Yeah, you can do. You're right, Jurgen. You can just keep a Blight Holder behind a wall and it can do actions, sure. But I could also just do that with like anything else in the game, like an empty Rhino. That's my point. My point is you don't even get to use a stratagem unless he's in the right position and you have brought him specifically. And this Blight Hauler gains no other benefit from this entire detachment. It doesn't get any of this. It can't make use of any of the strats. It is a parasitic design. It is here as a parasite. It gives nothing to its host, the host being the detachment. It gives nothing to that. Sorry, it only takes the detachment is the parasite. It feeds off the Mythic Blight Hall whilst giving it nothing back. Is what I was trying to say. Now, back to Droning Horror, which means that only other unit that can shoot decently well is like a Plague Marine squad, which means you're getting what? Let's have a think. 3 plasma guns, 2 blight launchers. At max. It's not that impressive. And that's in a 10-man squad. That's really not that impressive. Bear in mind, people can do this on way more powerful units in other armies. We're not a shooting army. We can do some close range shooting, but we're not a shooting powerhouse. We do more styles melee. And our flamers do a lot of our damage, and flamers don't roll to hit. So this already is just not great design for me. It's just not great. Like, shooting output buff here was not the thing needed. The best thing this is used on is, like I said, Blight Lords, and Blight Lords kind of suck anyway. So let's go to the next one. This one, Eye of the Swarm, is the thing that frustrates me the most, because I've heard people say this is good. Eye of the Swarm is actually trash. So, what is the use of Eye of the Swarm? Death Shroud have pistol anyway. So Death Shroud, pistol, kill stuff. Cool. Now, yeah, we're not an infantry-based shooting army, Don. You're completely correct. Eye of the Swarm gives your squad pistol. So Death Shroud have no use for the stratagem. Blight Lords have use for the stratagem. They can shoot in close combat. So what can they shoot? Well, they can shoot combi bolters. So if they're getting bogged down, they can use combi bolters. But here's the thing. Blight Lords melee sucks, but one thing they can kill is chaff that's trying to bog them down. Because they have a lot of attacks at OK AP at strength 5. They will kill through chaff trying to bog you down. So you don't need to shoot you out of combat. They can shoot combi weapons in close combat. But again, they hit on 4s, which sucks. Which means you're basically forced at that point to combine it. So really it's a 2 command point stratagem to get any use out of it on combi weapons in close combat against infantry. So at 2 CP, I'm not using it. Now, other example, we've got Plague Marines. So Plague Marines can use it, Aiden. Okay, cool. Here's my question though. If you charge something with Plague Marines and you don't kill it, what happens if you charge an actual scary melee unit and you don't kill it? They kill you. Because Plague Marines die. Real easy. Especially in this attachment. You don't max to -1 damage. You die. Okay. But let's say, or you charge it and it dies, in which case you have no use for the stratagem. Now, let's say hypothetically, the opponent charges you, and for some reason, they whiff so many dice that they're only killing 5 out of 10 of your Plague Marines, or 4 out of 10. So here's the question for you. What do I kill? Because to use this stratagem next turn to shoot my way out of combat, I'm going to have to kill off my heavy plague weapons. But I need to swing back in close combat. So that means I need to kill off my guns. But if I kill my guns, then I don't have my guns to use as pistols in the next turn. So, do I keep the guns alive? Or do I keep the plague weapons alive and just hit them back and do more damage now? Like, what is this? What was it designed for? I just... Yeah. I just don't get it. It's just not well designed. Now, Vermincloud is the shining diamond among all this. Vermincloud is brilliant. So Vermincloud, 10 out of 10, awesome. We love this. Innovating Onslaught, again, why does it have the weird... I get kind of why. They don't want you just doing tons of mortal wounds to monsters and vehicles, but in an army this pillow-fisted, like, why would it work anyway? Like, it's just not great. Like, we don't exactly hit super hard, so having like a bit of tank shot, because the thing is, the scariest melee unit is capped at a 7 model unit size, so on average it's doing 3, so it's not that scary suddenly. And things like cultists or poxwalkers who would get the full 6 every time are not going to do much with the actual combat swings, so I don't think you needed that. Now, if Droning Horror was lifted to just be a Death Guard unit, full rerolls to hit on like defilers or predators or plague burst crawlers and stuff, yeah, boy, full rerolls to hit on my PBC. I can drive up to a wall, indirect over it. I mean, you'd be indirect rerolling all hit rolls at 24 inches. I'm considering that at that point. Like, that's not bad. And this is what I mean. Like, so much of this could be fixed by just lifting some of the restrictions. Let me scout move a goddamn rhino. And like, these over here, Droning Chorus. Droning Chorus, again, would be great. Models equipped by models in the unit have assault. But again, we don't have that many great shooting platforms. Now, it's not awful. I actually like this one, Droning Chorus, but again, we don't have, like, guns like other armies do. It's not like a Breacher, Cat from Breacher Squad can move, advance, and shoot. We don't. We have some plasma guns. Like, the best bit is, like, our Foul Blight Spawn and our, our Playcaster or something. That's pretty cool. I like this. So that enhancement's actually pretty good. Insect Armor Limitation is fucking trash. Infantry only. Again, sure, whatever. you get to reroll once to wound. That's okay. But again, why am I having to jump through a hoop? Because again, we're going to see in a couple minutes, we're going to see an enhancement that is 10 points more than this and infinitely better in every single way. But yeah, this should be 10 points. This generally should be 10 points. Rejuvenating Swarm had so much potential if you could just go on a Demon Prince. Up the points, have 10 points / 40 points, and the 40 is only if it goes on Demon Prince. Just anything. That would have made that unit so usable. It would have been awesome. I've actually might have ran a Demon Prince, which is nice. Would have been good. Plague Veil, actually like. Plague Veil's decent. You know what, I'm not going to complain about Plague Veil. Plague Veil's cool. It just feels like this was designed by someone that sounded cool but didn't really understand what to do. Like they attempted the homework but they didn't know what they were assigned. It's just, I don't know. For me, it's a swing and it's a miss. Now again, this could all change, the caveat being MFM and Codex, but I am marking this of what we had right now. And Noble Shield, I'm very sorry, I wasn't intending to make this seem not fun for you, but and yeah, six Common Weapons, 2 Reapers, and I wouldn't even take the Flails and Blight Lords. The Flails are so bad. I'd go 2 Spewers. I mean, I feel like the designer for Nurgle and like Death Guard really doesn't fully understand what they want the army to be, because we went with this weird debuff route with the Plague Company, and everyone was like, "Oh, I don't like that. I want to be tanky." And then as the more we played it, we actually realized actually it's pretty fun. I'm quite liking this now. And then they've just like gone back on it, and it's like, what? Why have you now took it off? Like, and stealth is an okay rule. The problem is they're adding in so many bonuses to hit, so many rerolls. Like, sometimes it feels like you just don't even have stealth. And the fact like this is making me want to run infantry. Yet, like, Death Guard were already spamming Terminators. This does not make me want to try something I've not tried before. This doesn't make me want to bring the Blight Haulers aren't being brought because Blight Haulers are good and this detachment makes them good. They're being brought because they are necessary to at least get 6 stratagems out of this detachment. Otherwise, you only get 5. So for me, that's why this is a thanks but no thanks. Does it have potential? Yeah, of course, you can still win games with it. It's fine. But it just... And anyone that's played it, and there's a couple guys in our community, Don especially, who's in the chat right now, there'll be a few guys that have played this attachment multiple times now, and the same feedback I keep getting off multiple people is, it's okay, it would have been better if I was Plague Company. Every time. It's just, I would rather be Plague Company. It's better in every single way. Tox Trio, brilliant point. AOS Nurgle rules are so sick. Me and my missus are starting to play Spearhead, and I was reading the Nurgle one, and like every 6 to hit, they put a token on their opponent, and then at the end of every turn, they roll a dice for every token. Every 4 they take a mortal wound. It's like the diseases kick in and killing them. That's so thematic. That's so cool. And instead, like, I'm stuck with this. Swap rolls. Go to the 40k design team. But yeah, does it set out with its goal of making us play units that we already weren't playing? No. We were already playing Plague Marines. We were already playing Death Shroud Terminators. It just doubles down on that and gets rid of all the stuff that was around them. Does it actively make multiple units worse? Yes, every vehicle is worse. Mortarion is worse. Because you can't Cloud of Flies Mortarion, which means he's squishier. He doesn't get the stealth, so he can't even get -1 to hit. His extend contagion range rule, which actually gets played in Plague Company, sometimes you will pick that, is not even a thought in this detachment. And the one thing in this detachment that cares about contagion range is provided by Mortarion's other aura. Ah! It's so badly written. I want to get the person who wrote it and just shake his head and be like, what are you doing? So, yeah, I mean, Death Guard is a thanks but no thanks. I'm playing this, bear in mind. I'm playing this and I'm taking it to an event soon. I'm doing it because it's different, and it definitely is different. It's different for all the wrong reasons, and it's different because it's bad. But man, I don't know. This was a real swing and a miss, and the worst bit is that because we were the first one. If this was the first one and we hadn't seen the rest, I might even put it in potential. But then, as more and more have come out, and you just see, like, again, if I could be honest, I'd put this here. But I will put it in thanks but no thanks because we're not quite here. But like when you look at these, man, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. Even the Nid one, I'm kind of jealous about. Because Nids was like, hey, pick a very specific unit, but we're still going to let you bring X-Creens and get some use out of them. Ours is like, nah, you don't get anything. Just bring your Blight Halls, which are terrible, and it doesn't make them any better. Like, if the Blight Halls also got the -1 to be wounded, and the infantry unit near them, then I'd be like, okay, now we're cooking. A little bit. Not much, but a little bit. But no, you don't even get that. Screw you. So... we'll do Deathwatch next, and then we'll come to the obviously the finale. Your liver can't handle plebiscite an entire event, saving from drinking the bar dry. Mate, there's going to be no cherry aid left in that building when I'm done. I'm going to come home on a cherry aid bender. Yeah, I mean, look, you can play it. You can have fun with it. But the worst bit is, from what I've heard in feedback, the fun actually of this attachment fades real quick when it basically is devolved into, I walk forward, I stand on points, and pray I don't die. Yeah, it's the hoops and hoops, Tox. It really is the hoops and hoops. And then, no, you don't have any incentive to bring vehicles, so don't even dare, don't even dare try and experiment. But then, like, you play a game where you have nothing to threaten range, so your opponent just shoots you to death, and you're like, okay, so I need to bring some vehicles, and then you realise, but those vehicles get literally no bonus, and it just feels so bad. It just feels an awful way to play. But let's move on. Deathwatch. Let me, so, close that. Ugh. Deathwatch. So the Deathwatch is weird. So, I will say... Deathwatch is instantly I'm gonna be like, thank you for at least bringing this back, because as much as I don't think Deathwatch should have been an army in the first place, once you've released an army, I genuinely don't think you should delete it. I don't like Knights. Knights are one of my most hated armies in the game. I don't think they should be a standalone army. Would I want them removed from the game? No, because they are people's collections. People spend a lot of money and time painting, collecting, and no one should ever just be told their stuff is invalid one day. And I will wholeheartedly agree. I will never change my stance on that, even if it's an army I hate. So to see it back, really happy. Now, that being said, I'm not going to go too much into it because this is an entire index. So I'm going to let the Deathwatch players figure this one out. However, it has the old remnants of the old index, but what it has done is they've lifted a lot of the restrictions that made it terrible. So like all the rounds are not just bolters anymore. You can now actually use them on certain things, which is nice. They've been a bit restrictive on unit size. They're only like 10 mans only, pretty much, something like that. If I go to the bottom very quickly, yeah, like they really don't want you to bring any more than 10 mans. But they've got some really cool stuff. Now, the one thing I will say is I don't know if this is better, because this is really good. The site teleportation, they're basically kind of uppy downy for each unit's turn. And then you've got all these really nice shooting bonuses, like giving Hell Blasters like anti-infantry 2 plus anti-monster 5 plus. That's really nice. But the one thing I'll say is, as much as I think it's good, I think it's unfortunately one of those where I think the Vanguard detachment just kind of does this playstyle better of like uppy downy, blasting and shooting. However, it is Deathwatch and it is back, and I'm very, very happy for the people. They get double Oaths moment, which is really nice. They got, like I said, they got some new things. The Watchmaster's actually decent now. They get some cool, unique units. They get to fully mix and match the kill teams now, which is really nice. Gives them that flexibility back, which is good to see. So being able to basically build you guys how you wanted to, which is a Deathwatch's like wet dream. I mean, it's probably not going to get much love going forward. I won't lie. It probably isn't. But the fact that they've even brought it back for me is just what makes it worthy of commendation. It does have quite high killing power, I will give you that. It is quite scary. It has quite a lot of output because these strats for the rounds are kind of cracked. They are really good. And it can potentially do a lot of damage. I think the thing that really hurts it is the, the thing that really hurts it is going to be the unit sizes and what it's locked to, because they are expensive. They are really expensive units. Not like horrifically expensive, but they're expensive enough, and you are forced to take them in max sizes. And that, I think, is the main problem. So you're going to get a few scary kill teams, but they don't really have durability. They are Very killy, big squad units, but if you can just trade well against this army, I don't think it has. Like, the thing with the Vanguard detachment can like get the angles a lot, sort of be here, there, everywhere, and it still has like some chaffy units you can throw about, and obviously you could take them in here as well. I'm not going to rate the index because it's really hard for me to say, because it's an entire army. This is not just a detachment to look at. But it does have some power, and the strats look really strong. The army rule's really nice. You get, like you said, you can, because you can critically like bonuses all to this stuff. You get lethal hits. Now I won't lie, I don't like I hate stuff like this. I hate army-wide sustained, army-wide lethals. I just don't like stuff like that. Now, thankfully, this is only like once per phase, but like the guard one, I hate like tanks having permanent lethals versus vehicles, infantry having permanent sustain like lethals versus infantry. I just think that's boring design, that's lazy design. That's, hey, just have output. It's like, here's output, the end. Giving a vindicated precision does sound pretty fucking funny. I won't lie. That does sound pretty funny. I won't lie. But I mean, overall, I don't want to get too much into it because I don't know Deathwatch enough, and like I don't see Deathwatch enough. I think Deathwatch players in general are just going to be happy they've got someone to play with, and have the army back with them, because I feel really bad if you have lost your if you've sold or got rid of your army and now they've brought it back. That feels a little bad, I'm not gonna lie, because they should have like never removed it. It should have just been in the Imperial Agents book from the get-go. It'll never go past this one detachment, I don't think, but I'm glad they've brought it back for them. Like, I don't have too much to say about it, because again, I still don't think you're really going to see them unless it comes out and it's really powerful. But I mean, on terms of a tier list, it brings the entire thing back, so I'm just going to put it in. I'll put it nailed it, because it does what it does. It makes the kill teams quite scary. The mission rules are quite nice, and the army's back. And that's the main thing, really. They've listened to the community, they've brought the army back, and it actually seems there's been a little bit of effort put into it, because it actually, like, it's not just like, here's 5 meme stratagems. Like, they do hurt. They thought about the problems that existed prior, which it couldn't be used on all the weapons. Now they've made it better. So, I mean, overall, I'm quite happy with where Deathwatch is at, and I want to see him back. I don't personally want to see him back, but I want to see people be able to play their army again, and that's the main thing. So the fact it's back can't go any lower than real potential, really. But I think it's nailed it, because it's not even like I say, it's not like it's a throwaway. Because the fear was it'd be a throwaway index where it's just like everything's trash. We didn't put any effort into it, but it actually looks like they put a little bit of effort into it, which is nice to see. So I'm going to put it into the nailed it as well. And we're going to move on to the big one. Games Workshop Starshattered my asshole. Okay. So let's remember our goals for these things. Make people take units they're not already taking. So give them a new detachment that's going to let them use units that aren't, normally taken, to emphasize them and give them a bit of a power boost without being overly oppressive. So GW, in their infinite wisdom, their divine being in psychic bullshit conscience, decided, you know what? Just fuck everything. I don't care anymore. I'm going to make the most bullshit thing I've ever read in my life. It's so dumb. And I hate it so much. And the problem is, this one... Well, I don't even know where to begin on this one. It's actually annoys me. So, okay, it is a vehicle-themed Necron attachment. Were Necrons not playing vehicles? No, you fucking idiots. They were already playing Doomsday Arcs in every goddamn list. The Locust Destroyers were everywhere. Not like spamming, but they were in lists. Like, people were taking them. So we make a detachment all about vehicles. You know what you could have done? You could have made a detachment to make the melee units of Necrons actually taken. Because you failed Destroyer Cult pretty damn hard. Why not have had a second go of it? Make Triarch Praetorians, Lich Guard. Sorry. Scorpex, Ophidian Destroyers, all the melee units should be much better. Like, no, let's make another tank detachment. But let's get into it. So, off the bat, each time a Necrons model from your army targets a unit that's in range of objective marker, add 1 to the hit roll. So just punish people for playing 40k. Cool. Not only that, in addition, ranged weapons equipped by Necron vehicles and Necron mounted models, so not infantry, from your army have the assault ability. So, your entire army is Bringers of Flame with +1 to hit, targets on and objectives. Nice, that's pretty powerful. Having army-wide assault would have already been enough, but you know what? Nah, let's put it on everything. On top of that, we'll also give it +1 to hit rolls. Now, people are like, oh yeah, but it doesn't go in infantry. Okay, listen up, genius. The only infantry unit that they're really running is like Death Marks, who just deep strike and do anything to do reactions, or Immortals. Warriors are only really taking an Awakened Dynasty, but Immortals, guess what? Weapon do you run? Tesla Carbines. Guess what Tesla Carbines are? They're assault, genius. So they already got it. So now we've got an entire army that can advance and shoot. Cool, great. So we've got like alternative hypercrypt that does more output. Cool. Let's have a look at this first enhancement. Dread Majesty. It's an aura. That thing we said we were not really going to be careful with this edition because auras get out of hand very quickly. Okay, I'm sure it can't be that bad. It's 30 points. So, Overlord or Catacomb Command Badge. When a friendly Necrons unit is within 6 inches of the bearer, reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. Are you fucking stupid? So, I pay 20 points for a unit to get reroll 1s to wound only for itself, and only if his enemy unit is within the hoop of a contagion range. This Necron robot stands in the middle of an entire army and gives out the entire army reroll 1s to hit and wound, which is like a 36% damage increase. Why? I don't get it. We had this entire problem with Ironstorm where the auras were so oppressive because you could give auras of like lethals and like fall back and charge and fall back and shoot and stuff. It was so annoyingly oppressive. And you give this out. This is the aura the Silent King has. This is double the aura Mortarion has. And you can shove it on any goober for 30 points. Any goober. What do you think people are going to put around this? Warriors? No. They're going to put the things that you're buffing it with, which is Locust Destroyers. Or Doomsday Arcs. Which are already taken everywhere, and for some reason, even though you literally saw people taking triple Doomsday Arc already, you then dropped the points on. So you're now incentivizing people to go and buy more Doomsday Arcs. Cool. Right, next one. Ranged weapons get ignores cover. That one's okay. Find me that 15 points. Sure thing. Demanding leader. Pick a unit within 6 inches of the bearer. Until the start of your command phase, that unit is eligible to shoot in a turn which it falls back. So it's in the movement phase, so they have... The vehicle can not only fall back, the guy can then run towards the vehicle and then give it be able to shoot. So it's better than just doing it in the command phase. It's way better. One of the problems with this detachment would have been if you could tag it. Like if it's running load of Doomsday Arcs, you get like a good... tag on a Doomsday Arc, at least it can't shoot in combat because it's blast. This used to be the way to shut one of them down at least. Either you can't kill it, it can't fall back and shoot, and also it can't shoot into the combat. Cool, let's give them an out. So now they've got the out. Cool. So 10 points to give them an out to one of their only weaknesses. Cool, right, sweet. Next one, 25 points. Necron model only, in your command phase, select one friendly Necron vehicle or mounted. Until the start of your next command phase, subtract 1 from the damage of everything they take. So you remember that 2 command point strat that we have that can only be used in the fight phase on one unit of ours? And it lasts for only the phase to give them -1 damage. Now imagine if we could do that every single turn, it lasted for every single phase, and we could put that on I don't know, Silent Kings or Doomsday Arcs. Now bear in mind, Necron vehicles already super annoying to kill. They have tons of wounds, and they have a 4-up invulnerable. It's so hard to like kill one of these things from full to dead in a single turn, and now it's going to have -1 damage if it wants to, including on the bastard Silent King. So cool, yeah, that is definitely a 25 point enhancement, because it only costs me, if I wanted to do it every turn, if I wanted to do -1 damage every turn for a single fight phase for a unit, that would cost me, well, it'd be 2 fight phases a turn, so that would be what? 20 command points over a game? This lasts for every phase, so by that logic in both shooting and melee, this is a 40 command points worth of value. Does that make sense to you guys? 25 points? Does that make sense? No. Okay. So, crazy rule, crazy enhancements already. I'm sure the stratagem's kind of that bad. Merciless Reclamation. Pick an enemy unit that is basically... Pick one of your units that's going to shoot or fight, so you also get fight bonuses in this shooting detachment because of reasons. If you target someone on an objective, add one to the wound roll. Cool, so you dared to stand on an objective. You dared to play Warhammer 40k. I now get +1 to hit and +1 to wound against you. And this bellend stood next to me over here is giving me reroll 1s to hit and wound. So my Doomsday Axe are hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, wounded on 2s, rerolling 1s. That's called 100% efficiency and conversion. So if they're rolling a 7 on shots plus blast, say they're shooting at some Blight Lords that you've brought along for some reason, that's 9 wounds just going through. And they have Dev if they stay still, so you're just eating that. So yeah, cool. Let's just make them Custodians at that point, because why not? But I mean, +1 to wound. Yeah, it's kind of good. Surprisingly. It's very good. But it doesn't have to be Doomsday. It can be on anything. And the fact it's just +1 to wound. And it's in the fight phase as well. Like Silent King can come in and slap you with +1 to wound. It's so good. Unyielding Forms. It's transhuman with less hoops. They don't need a Mephatic Blight Hauler. They don't need to be within 6 inches of a Technomancer. Nope. They just pick one of the vehicles. Because again, vehicles definitely transhuman more than infantry. Even though it's way better on vehicles. So... what was one of the downsides of a Doomsday Arc? Well, it has more wounds than your average tank, so it's tougher to kill. It regenerates wounds, so it's weak. You can't chip it down. It has a 4+ invulnerable, which every tank in the game would love. So what was its one downside? Oh yeah, it was only like a T9 vehicle, so a lot of anti-tank could wound it quite easily on 3s. And even like medium strength weapons could potentially wound it on 3s. Nope! Get fucked. Just transhuman it. Cool. So now I have to hit you on a 3... wound you on a 4 with last cannons. You have a 4-up invulnerable. I'm not one-tapping this thing. Ever. Like, this thing does not die easily. And this can go on a Silent King again. And this can be stacked with the -1 damage. And this can be stacked with a Canoptic Spider. So now you've got a unit that is -1 to be wounded, -1 damage, and a 6-up feel no pain. Cool. I'm sure it can't get any worse. Chrono Shift. In fact, actually, let's just quickly go to Endless Servitude. End of your fight phase, 1 Necron unit from your army is within range of an objective I can control. It can reanimate. Oh, cool. So, my Doomsday Arc that was taken to 3 HP can then heal. If there's a reanimator nearby, it can heal for 2d3. And then as long as I finish the turn on an objective, and then do it again, and then because the reanimator's nearby, I'm now healed for 4d3, so I've just gone up 8 wounds on average. Nice. Sure, it can't get any worse. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Oh yeah, it works in the fight. I didn't even notice that the transhuman works in the fight phase. Why? Ours only works in the shooting phase. They can hit the fight phase as well. So again, not only is it less restrictive, it's just better in every way because reasons. So what is one of the only weaknesses of an army that has advanced on assault on every weapon? Well, they roll a d6 and sometimes they'll roll a 1. Nope. Let's just fix that weakness potential right there. 1 command point, auto advance 6. Nice. So, just, you know, if someone wants to get that angle, there's literally nothing you can do to stop them. If you look at it and go, right, okay, if I go here, they can only shoot me if they roll a 6. You go, it's a 1 in 6 chance, I might take those odds. Nope, you can't do that anymore. Sweet. Excellent. Me. Then we've got this one here again. Just bust through walls in the movement phase. And it's in your movement phase, not the start like Custodes. So you can roll your advance, see how far you can go. Oh, I can get around the building naturally. Cool. I won't use the stratagem. Oh no, I'm not going to make it. I'll use the stratagem after you've seen the dice roll. You can do that because Chaos Knights can do it. So cool. What is the weakness of mounted and Doomsday Arcs and vehicles? Oh, they have to bet. You know, they have to respect terrain. Nope. Why does every Necron rule have to be, let's ignore the core rules of the game? I hate it so much. Hyperphase is the same. 3-inch deep strike, uppy downy every turn. Let's just not play normal Warhammer. Let's just do what we want. And then, not only top of that, then we cap it off with a reactive move after you've been shot. So you remember how I said with all these buffs, it's going to be impossible. Like, Doomsday Acts are already impossible to one-tap because they've just got so many wounds and the 4-up invulnerable. Now, if you try and set up, so you bring out 3 Predators, I bring out my 3 Predators to shoot into a Doomsday Arc because I really need to kill it. I get to shoot it once and it will piss off behind the wall. And not only that, it's not even a D6, it's if it's a mounted or vehicle unit, it's going to be a flat 6. Flat 6 reactive move after being shot. It's Phantasm. It's Phantasm which you get to shoot them once. And that's even worse. Because they can come onto a point, they can move block you, they can do tons of extra stuff. Like, it's so busted. Reactive move, flat 6 on all of his units, which are massive as well. Yeah, you're right, actually. It's basically the equivalent of giving a miracle dice, because it's flat 6 there, the advance is flat 6. It's basically having on-cue miracle dice for certain things whenever you need it. So, we've got this army, which was already running like Silent King, because again now Silent King's even more free to choose his ignore modifiers aura, so you're going to be hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s because this dude's got this enhancement, wounded on 2s on most things, rerolling 1s, and you're ignoring all modifiers. Permanently. Nice. So how do we, as a internal balanced rules design team, come up with this and then come up with these? Because the problem is, the AdMech one actually has a lot of strength quite similar to this. The difference is, the AdMech datasheets aren't as good as Necron datasheets. Necron datasheets are cracked. And the worst bit is, it doesn't even achieve the goal of Grotmas, which was to get units you don't see much onto the table. You're just going to see more Doomsday Arcs. You're just going to see more bloody destroyers. You're just going to see more, like the Odd Spider. You're going to see more Silent King. It doesn't achieve the goals. And there is, how does this get past an internal balance team? Who puts this aura, this is the most egregious in this aura, who puts this in front of someone who is supposed to check and be in charge of rules balancing and say, hey, does this look okay? Because if someone brought that to me and was like, hey, does this seem okay to you? My reaction would be this. Pass me something. Pass me your phone. Nah, like I'm going to read it. Oh, yeah, so you made this rule. Let me have a look. Are you fucking dense? You got a brain in there? You think this is fine?
Yeah.
Do it again. Go away. Do it again. Like, it's not hard. Yeah, we get a 5-inch scout move. Woo! And stealth. And we'll give up, what do we give up for it? All of our output. And then everything else we do in that detachment requires to jump through hoops. Jump through hoops. That's what you got to do. But here, where are the hoops? Okay. Find me a single hoop. Let's look for hoops. Can we find a hoop? Actually, like, this is so void of hoops. I don't know if the hoop is supposed to be, it has to be on an Overlord or a Command Barge. It's not a hoop, mate. It's not a hoop. Okay. Where's the hoop? Just gives a squad a nose cover. No hoop. Nope. Fall back at the perfect timing because it's in your movement phase, not in the command phase. No hoop. This one, subtract 1 from the damage for entire turn. Andrew, yeah, nope, no hoop. Someone has to be on an objective. It's not really a hoop because people play Warhammer. They have to stand on an objective. This one here. Ooh, Necron vehicles unmounted. It has to be one of them, except you're doing that anyway because that's the entire reason you're playing this detachment, so that's not a hoop. Chrono Shift. Nope, no hoop. Just fuck it, you can do it. Dimensional Tunnel. No hoop, just do it. And it's even better because it's free. You don't have to like risk the roll and you don't have to spend the command point and risk not rolling enough on advance. Nope. You get to see your advance first, then do it. This one here. Reanimate any hoop. Nope, it's not. It's even hate. Any Necron unit can do that one. Why not? And then the reactive move. What's the hoop? You have to be a... you can use it on anything. And a D6 move is not a hoop if you're not a vehicle, because that's the normal effect. You just get a better version if you're playing what you're already playing in this detachment. Ugh, I hate it, Dave. Hi, Dave. How you doing? Thank you very much, Dave, for the 5 gifted memberships, mate. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. And yeah, well done on VT as well, mate. Great game. This to me, I've actually not been. Look, Dave. Look how many of them I put in nailed it. I'm actually, and these I was not salty about. I was actually happy with these. Happy about these. Happy with the Nid one. Ranted a bit on ours, obviously. 1,000 someone I think is a joke. I won't be lie. But this one is obviously going in like. I don't understand. The bit that annoys me is Necrons were already good. They were a really good faction. Their detachment should have been like some fluff bunny or like some way to try and make the melee, like a melee build for Necrons. It doesn't exist, but instead they just doubled down on making Necrons amazing, which they already are. And the rules balance team, I don't know if it's like different people work on different detachments, but do you guys just not? Are you like those co-workers that never want to like never want to talk to each other? Also, Chuck and Ori, thank you very much for a £5, mate. I'm sorry I missed that one. I was busy ranting. You know, you have those co-workers who are just like not interested in talking to anyone else in the office. Is that the GW design team? Is it just like, hey, I'm working on my thing over here. You're on your thing over there. We're never going to talk. We're going to go for lunch at separate times. Because at a certain point, you have to look at these next to each other. There's no way you can get away in a design office with this next on one table and then something else that like these ones on another table. Like, it's not. And then if you are doing your research and designing properly and you go into, again, set out your goals, which is let's get some underused units on the table, you came to the conclusion that destroyers and doomsday arcs are the things that aren't on the table. Like, what? Yeah, Jurgen, it should have been like flayed ones, Lich Guard, Destroy, a melee focus one, because that is one thing that does not currently work in Necrons, because Destroyer Cult is just not great. Parking lot was solved. Parking lot can be done. Like, I wish the interns did this, but the problem is, it's too good for it to be done by an intern, because it's done by someone that understands what makes a good army.
I meant DG.
Oh, you meant DG did it. Yeah, the intern did the... No, you know what the worst bit is? The Death Guard one, for me, was personally done with someone that doesn't know Death Guard and doesn't have passion for it. It lacks passion. That's the biggest crime to me. This is done by someone that was like... You know when you're... What's the great example of it? You know when you're a kid and then you find cheat codes on a game? And like, you're playing The Sims and your friends just told you about the motherload cheat. And you put that bad boy in, and you spam it, and then you get some money, and you buy that piece of furniture you wanted, and now you're like, oh, but I could just do it again, spam it some more, yeah. And now suddenly the entire game's kind of moot and void, because you've got infinite money, which is kind of the whole point of The Sims, was to, like, slowly build stuff, and, like, get a house and shit, and you just kind of cheated your way there. It's like a kid on a power trip. I don't know, like, what is the theme of this supposed to be? Vehicles? Tank spam? It's already done, and it was already really good, and now we just made it better. And the worst bit is, like, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, and it's not an accusation, because I've spoken to the guy that does the rule stuff. I'm not gonna say the name, but we all know what I'm on about. I've spoken to him, and he actually genuinely was listening to me and talking to me, and I genuinely do think he wants what's best for the game. And unfortunately, he does play this army. And if I was him, and this went through, I'd be fuming, because I'm like, great, you are literally going to cause me so much fucking grief. Because everyone's going to be saying it, and everyone's thinking it, and I know it is, because I've had a million people say it to me, and I don't think it's true. But the worst bit is it's going to come through people's heads, because he does play the army. And it's like, So I'd be so mad at GW if I'm like trying to have like this reputation and I'm trying to like do my best and I'm trying to balance the game, and then you come out and release this broken thing, because I can't believe for a second, and I refuse to believe this was put in front of him, because I can't believe for a second, and I hope not, and I don't think it is, that's what I think. Chukanori, like people say, I genuinely think even if he said to them, this is stupid, you shouldn't put this out, this is overpowered, I reckon GW was just like, well, that would be useful feedback if I didn't print the publish button 5 minutes ago. Woohoo! That's what it feels like. Because there's no way. I wouldn't buy for a second that this actually was allowed to get through. And like, okay, again, there's an MFM coming up. Maybe that fixes a lot of this thing, but that's useless to me right now. If you were going to say all these are in context of something to come in the future, that doesn't help me right now. It doesn't. It just makes me angry. If you're going to tell me the fix, release this one after the fix. It's just a bit daft. And the worst bit is, Necrons are everywhere, especially when they're good, and the Hypercrypt, like, people could genuinely pay badly. This is like, hey, the Hypercrypt thing where, and again, I don't think Hypercrypt's particularly skilled. I think it's a lot of nonsense that people think it's a skilled army, but this is even more nonsense because this is just stack auras around a guy, move around and blow absolutely everything off the table. Cool. Well done, GW. Well done. So, obviously, this is going straight into End My Suffering tier, because I don't want this thing to come out, but it is coming out. And I look forward to running into it 3 out of 5 games at every event coming up until it gets nerfed. And again, if MFM comes out between the weeks, so if MFM comes out next week, this is a live tier list, because again, we're only doing 7 this week. We'll do some more next week. We can adjust it, so maybe it comes out and fixes it all, and I can happily put it here or here. But as it stands right now, with only the context we've been given, and the only context we have, it's busted as shit. And I have watched a couple battle reports now of people playing the Death Guard one, and a specific one I watched last night, it was against this Necron one, and the score ended up being fairly close, but the Necron player was brand new to the faction, the Death Guard player was not, and the Death Guard lost, and the Death Guard player looked like, he looked like he wanted to go and meet Nurgle a bit earlier, if you know what I mean. He was like, I could go outside right now and meet Nurgle. I'm going to keep it that way so so YouTube doesn't get angry at me, but I'm sure you know what I'm trying to say with that one. He looked a little dead inside, I'm not going to lie. Thank you very much, Prometheus Williams, $5 super chat. Nothing but top tier content for you guys. Will, Aiden, Dave, keep it up. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it. This is the problem, Necromancer Goblin. No, there's going rumors this month. If they'd give me a strict date, I'd be happy, but they don't. And people are telling me this is all in context, but like again, people are like, oh yeah, but it's in all this you see now. It's in context of the data slate. You think a data slate is going to fix this or this? They better be the biggest damn data slate I've ever seen. I don't know. Yeah, Hugh, that's the exact one about. Great channel, by the way, Hobby Goblins. Go check him out. Great channel. It was a really fun battle. Well, it wasn't a fun battle report, I'm not going to lie, but it wasn't their fault for that reason. It just, the guys were trying their best to make it fun, but that Death Guard player just, like, he's just so dead inside. It was so sad. But, I mean, that's where we're obviously going to leave it for this week. So this is all our detachments done so far. We've got Imperial Knights coming tomorrow. We'll come back to this next Sunday, see what we get. I'm absolutely sure the rest of them will all be nailed it. We'll have Nova Stinkers. We're not even, we've only got a few things. Only got a few more to go for, haven't we? But, I mean, we might even need to split the Demon one up because that's going to be 4 different ones. But we get Chaos Knights and Imperial Knights tomorrow, and hopefully we'll get some more to come in the week. But as of right now, as it stands right now, the Imperium designer, I'm gonna for some reason just assume they're done like this, even though they're not. But the Imperium designer doing a great job, mate. Well done, A+. The Xenos designer, you are a coin flipper, mate. This one brilliant. This one we like. This one, you go fuck yourself. And then the Chaos designer, do you have any work experience in other fields? That's a bit harsh, I'm sorry. That's a bit harsh, I'm sorry, but like right now you are 0 for 2, mate. And the Chaos designer loves hoops, apparently. He's just like, I love... Maybe he was like a professional hula hooper in a past life. Or maybe he just really likes hula hoops, the crisps. Which Americans, I don't know if... Do you guys have hula hoops? Or Funyuns. He likes Funyuns. He likes hoops. There you go. That's the best way I could put it. I don't know. the Chaos Teir isn't fired yet. Let's hope the World Eaters and the CSM and the Chaos Demons get something just a bit better, or this MFM comes out and turns this entire thing upside down. Because I really want to see it be good, but it's a bit rough at the moment. Yeah, that's what I mean, Jonathan Swift. The Hobby Goblins dude is Team USA. He said he's always played Nurgly stuff, and he was beat by a person playing his first ever time as Necrons. because why not? That's what we can do. Because the Necron player, like, don't get me wrong, he played okay, but like I was looking at, there was so many things he could have done better. It could have been so much more worse for the Death Guard. But like, it was so depressing to watch. But alas, we they do have hula hoops. Cool, they aren't savages. It's nice to know. It's nice to know. You are good. You can still do Collins work. Yeah, jump it, Dan. You are the last hope at this point. Obviously we've got CSM to come and Demons, but I'm counting you as the last one. Will Imperial Knights be oppressive? Will they walk through walls again? I mean, they already can, but maybe they'll give them one where they can do everything through walls. Maybe they'll just let them shoot through walls. Who knows? Maybe that'll be the new thing. Because everyone gets to move through walls apparently these days, except us. But yeah, to be fair, so, yeah, I agree. And I said that before, mate. The detachment of Thousands was cursed to fail. The army needs a rewrite entirely. It just doesn't. The army cannot function as it is right now. It's just bad. Lazy Dan, play that funky music. Right, boy, I will play that music for you very shortly because I'm going to be wrapping up now because I'm my throat's a bit sore after 2 hours of ranting. I started this thing off with a little bit of like, I started Grotmas off with hope. This came out, destroyed it. I lost hope. But I was like, okay, well, I didn't lost hope, I lost care, because like, if they're all going to be this power level, then it's not really going to change anything. And then these ones started coming out, and then I started feeling upset, because I was like, oh man, why couldn't I got that? And then this came out and made me laugh a bit. And then this came out, and as I said before, GW Starshattered my hopes and dreams, and the one thing this edition can genuinely praise for is its balance in general, and avoiding the majority of power creep. To them release this, it just feels so bad. It just feels so bad. The worst bit is it's just brainless parking lot. I can't even stand it. So, we'll see how it goes. If this comes out and it is as oppressive as we think and we start seeing it in metas everywhere, I genuinely said to one of my teammates, I was like, if it gets to that point where this is ever present and over dominant, like everyone's playing it, it's at every table, I might genuinely just pass on those games. Because like I ain't got it in me. We'll see. I probably wouldn't. I'm there anyway, but I won't be happy about it. But yeah, I'll leave it there for now. So thank you very much for tuning in today. Now we're all talking about crisps. So if you're on mental health, is it worth trying to make it? Oh no, I'm gonna make it work. Even for my mental health is already unstable and unhinged. Don't worry about that. I am a glutton for punishment. Like my favorite games, like the Dark Souls series. So like, smashing my head against the wall is not. I kept playing Death Guard when we had a 36% win rate. This is nothing. Like I'll. It's still better than I used to have. I'll make it work. I will do something. But yeah. I'm a masochist at this point, and I will stick to it. I will walk the walk, because the best bit is, if I'm wrong about this detachment and it's actually good, then great, I've got a cool detachment that's doing well. If I'm right with it, even though I have absolute miserable experiences in games, I can go to the internet and all the YouTube channels that were like, Death Guard broken, and I can be like, fuck you, you were wrong. So, yeah. I can't lose. That's the great bit. I can't lose. I'm either proven right or I get a powerful army. So, yeah. Yeah, I also could just threaten my opponent, yeah. That would work as well. Necro skills. If I can do live souls to them. Yeah, exactly. Easy, mate. Easy. I can survive all this stuff. Done it before, we'll be fine. But for now, everyone, I'm going to leave you some tunes anyway. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Again, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. And we'll pick up this next Sunday. We've got another looking at 7 coming through. And we'll have a fun time going through them. And And the MFM could change everything. It could genuinely change everything. For now, if you're competitive, stick to Plague Company. But you want to give it a go. Give it a go. I am fueled by spite, Morton. I am the angriest little man you've ever met. I'm the angriest 5'7" nurgling on this damn planet. I'm not 6. Shut up. It's 5'7". I'm not 5'6". Stop. I'm gonna. Oh, that's a great place to leave this anyway. You can't hear what she's saying. 5'7". 7. I'm not 5'6". I'm 5'7". 6.5 at a push. Alright, I'll use some tunes, everyone. Take care. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye bye. Where's the book? I'm trying the book. There we go.
Clothed in silence, grim and pale, shrouded forms behind rusted veils, wielders of scythe, reapers of life, bound to mortarian, blessed by strife. No words are spoken, yet dread pervades, eternal watchers, unbroken blades. Astride the tides of filth they tread, the death shroud march where life has fled. Ill and decay the Father's will, unyielding, relentless, they kill. Echoes of death in every stride. Plague-born wraith, shadows by his side. Shadows of wrath, the sights of despair. Life withers and dust beneath their glare. Guardians of plague, champions of blight, extensions of the pale king's might. Toxic mist clings to ancient blades. The man reaper swings, death incarnate. Each strike in silence, each reap a red rend. Their inexorable march will not end. And picked by Mortarian's hand, loyal till death, his final command. Eternal duty, a silent crusade. They carry the plague till the end of days. Heal and decay the Father's will, unyielding, relentless, they kill. Echoes of death in every stride. Plague-born wraith, shadows by his side. Shadows of wrath, the sights of despair. Life withers and dust beneath their glare. Guardians of plague, champions of blight, extensions of the pale king's might. Sacrifice of mortal hands, carving through across the land. Fairy and shadow, eternal and true, the death shroud march to bury you. Shadows of wrath, heralds of dread, they march where the living fear to tread. No mercy, no escape, no salvation lies. The death will bring the galaxy's demise. No words are spoken, no mercy shown. The death's mark remain, shadows alone. The blackened sky we rise, wings of death, clouds of flies. The crag will burn, the pure will fall. Mortarian's wrath will consume them all. Ultimate pride crumbled in the dust. Your emperor's light can't stop the rust. The seas erupt by your final breath. Now kneel before the reaper's death. I am the plague, I am the rot. The end of all that you forgot. You fought for hope, you fought for life. Now your shiny world slowly dies. From the skies I bring despair. Your warriors choke on poisoned air. My crack chapter falls beneath my feet. Gleaming suns will face my wrath. In every breath, your lungs turn black. Your noble heart, I turn to ash in my shadow. Your hopes will crash. I am the play, I am the rot. The end of all that you forgot. You fought for hope, you fought for light. Now your shiny world slowly dies. From the skies I bring despair. Your warrior choke on poisoned air. The cracking flames, hear the cries. Mortaria's blade, watch its glory dies. The angel falls, your honored sword. In death your soldiers are reborn. There's no salvation, no last stand. McCrack is buried by my hand. McCrack was the jewel of the stars. Now lies broken, tainted with my scars. I am your doom, your final breath. Mortaria comes, delivering death. From the skies I bring despair. Your warrior choke on poisoned air. McCracken flames, hear the cries. Mortaria's blade, watch its glory dies. The angel falls, your honored sword. In death your soldiers are reborn. There's no salvation, no last stand. McCracken's buried by my hand. Buried by my hand. You fall, you fall. McCrack is buried by my hand. In the shadow of decay I rise, Typhus the herald beneath poison skies. With nobles rot I lay worlds to waste. The Reaper's scythe, no life can escape. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with the twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Noble's name I spread death with ease. Vessels water me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Noble's name I spread death with ease. Vessels water me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Noble's name I spread death with ease. Vessels water me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. Nightmares howl, the gassing walls. Pestilent tides, new life is born. Miracles passing, a twisted grace. I embrace your heart in my golden grace. plague fleet fear the end. No salvation, no let to defend. I am Typhus, reaper of dread. Bow to Nurgle, embrace the dead.
From the shadow depths of a broken hive, corpses twitch and come alive. This crimson plague, it feeds on fear as the bodies drop and it draws us near. Our skin is crawling, something's inside. Internal organs liquefied. Deathguard's gift, a twisted fate. No escape from me, yeah, it's too late. No goal comes except your fate. It won't stop. The hive's infected, it's too late. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume when it's sick disease. Our souls corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking pox now takes its bite. The walking pox now takes its bite. Blood the rod. Walking pox now takes its bite. Lungs are burning, pox fills the air. You scream for help, but no one cares. Bones are breaking, bodies swift. The Death Guard's gift, death's toxic kiss. Pale I stare with a hollow glare. The Grotmas shambling, lost somewhere. This hive is his, disease and bloom. No light survives in this darkened tomb. There no comes except your fate. It won't stop. The hive's infected, it's too late. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume when it's sick disease. Our souls corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking pox now takes its bite. The walking pox now takes its bite. You feel it settle deep inside. There's no cure, nowhere to hide. You breathe me in, you can't escape. I am the plague, I am your fate. What can you feel it in your bones? This is where it now goes home. No mercy here, you're out of time. Your final breath is that last line. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume what is sick disease. Our souls corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking box now takes its bite. The walking box now takes its bite. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume when it's sick disease. Our souls corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking box now takes its bite. The walking box now takes its bite. From the skies we come to claim our prize. A world infected before your eyes. We are the run, we are the end. The Death Guard's mercy is death again. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume when it's sick disease. Our souls corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking box now takes its bite.